Who do we have the pleasure of sitting down and talking to this morning?
Oh man, none other than Amon Oliver, known as the Amon Lee, the Last Dragon. Um, man, I don't, I don't think I'm all that famous, man. I'm just a regular guy, man. I don't think I'm no more important than a lot of the great men that I've had in my circle and have been introduced and have had a pleasure and an honor to, just be around, man.
All right. Bro, where are you originally from?
Originally from Chicago. Originally a Chicago native. My mother was military. We did a lot of bouncing back and forth from Chicago to Georgia. And then she finally made roots here, in Georgia. And, that's where we was at until she passed.
How old were you, rest in peace to moms? How old were you when she just got stable here in Georgia?
Man, I was still kind of young, probably more like 12, 13.
12, 13.
Yeah.
Can you describe your childhood at that particular time?
I think I don't think it was any different from a lot of people I know, man. I think most Black people, man, we all have a common roots of humble beginnings. You know what I'm saying? Project living, things of that nature, whatever. So I don't think that's uncommon for me. Just the natural environmental stereotypes. You know what I'm saying? Like somewhat rundown housing, elements of drugs, alcohol.
Was Dad in the house?
No. Actually, I never knew my father. Never knew
Really?
my father. I didn't even know my father. I didn't even know who my father was till I got into my 20s. My mother had one time told me that she didn't want to tell me his name because she was afraid that I would go looking for him. I was just like, yeah. So by the time I got of age, where I could, it's just like it didn't matter, you know what I'm saying? Because I was my own man by then, you know what I'm saying? I was already growing up. I was already an adult. I had my own developed my own mindset. I had developed my own personality. So it's just like I didn't think that was really a need for it.
Okay, so I'm saying, does he know that you were even born, or?
No, I don't know. My mother never told me that she was pregnant with me. Yeah.
So do you even know if he's still alive at this point, or?
Now, no, I don't.
It's not on your to-do list to go find him at all.
It's really not. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I don't know if that makes me a bad person or anything like that. I don't know. I guess it's been for me. I've spent so much of my time being my own man, and through a lot of the experience that I have had, where if there was a time that I did need guidance in those experiences, I didn't have it. I kind of had to either make do with the mentorship where I could, or just the examples that I could take from the best of whatever was available, and then try to develop my own, my own way of thinking. I've always tried to be my own man. I think that's one thing that my mother had always instilled in me when I was very, very young, is a sense of independence. Like, cause I've had to raise myself most of the time.
Right.
My mother, while she was working, I'm the man of the house. And then of course, once I had my baby brother, I became a damn near parent at a very young age as well. So, I was 10 years. So me and my baby brother have 10 years between each other. Now, he did know his father, but his father is not the best of individuals.
Gotcha. So it's just y'all two growing up together.
I know of I know I did end up finding I had older brothers, and I end up and so through correspondence we end up finding, and it was end up through the penal system. So just miraculously we end up finding each other and end up being able to ties, but I still never got an opportunity to be introduced to my father. And I think he was, from what I was heard, he was deep in the streets, and I think he was on his last leg, man. I think he was
in Chicago or in Atlanta.
It was here.
It was here. Oh, okay, it was here.
So yeah. So Yeah, I didn't hear much about him. I don't know. I guess I didn't really ask. You know.
Do you think you being forced into to almost raise a sibling and to not have a relationship with your biological father, do you think that has anything with you not reproducing?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think my relationship with my mother has given me a strong opinion and view when it comes to the opposite sex. I think I do fall into what most young black males do. You know, at a very young age, I think most single mothers raise their young boys how to date older women. You know, they teach you how to be the ideal man for an older woman, right? You
Mm-hmm.
know, they teach you that, being polite, having mannerisms, having this level of chivalry and things of that nature is the thing that's going to attract the ideal significant other.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, you know what I'm saying, when you don't have that male guidance to really give you the realism, like, look, most girls your age are not looking for that. They're looking for excitement. They're looking for uh, athletes. They're looking for individuals who stand out. They're looking for individuals who have specific attributes that are kind of more influenced and programmed
Mm-hmm.
and conditioned into them. You know, a lot of times it's just conditioned preferences. And a lot of times I don't even think they know why they want or desire these particular things out of males. And I think that it isn't until they've made these mistakes and gone through these trial and tribulations, like we have in a lot of these single parent mothers,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, that they start conditioning their sons that this is the man that I desire now,
Mm-hmm.
after experiencing the
Mm.
men that they thought were exciting,
Mm.
you know. And and I know it's a lot of trial and error, and I think it's a lot of trial and error when it comes to young men and our experience in dating, man. I think it's a lot of confusion, because I know I was confused.
Mm-hmm.
But I think but it was really really different for me, and I think it was a big threshold for me, because I got, I end up experiencing incarceration at a very young age. But but I was also in the street. So it's a lot of things I experienced very, very young before I even went to, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying, I became locked up, that allowed me to also keep a sense of identity and not be as influenceable in the penal system as a lot of young males that got locked up my age were.
Yeah. Okay. So when you guys were in Georgia, what part of town were you in?
Oh, we can. I think my mother started off in Columbus, Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
and then from Columbus, Georgia, I think we migrated straight to Atlanta.
You remember what elementary or middle school or junior high you went to?
Uh, I think we first started living in Egan Homes, which they end up tearing down, and I was midtown, but I wasn't going to school there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I started going to school more so when we came to the south side. We started migrating more south, and it was like the Forest Park, Clayton County
Mm-hmm.
area. So I do remember um, maybe Fountain for a little bit, um, Bad Middle School,
Mm-hmm.
and then never went to bad middle school. I think the last school that I attended was Henry County High, and my mother did a drastic,
Yeah.
change to the country, and of course that is where, what I'm saying, things start to go downhill for me.
Okay. So before we get there, while you were in school, did you ever have? Because I know now, as
Mm.
a man, you have no I don't say regard, but you have no desire to reach out and see who you're to pick up with your dad or whatnot. But at that time, when you were a kid, did that bother you at that time, or were you just not?
I don't. I don't think it was really a thought. I think at a very young age, because I had so much responsibility, it I don't think it was something I worried about. It was like I said, all my family plus my mother is military, so it's like we have regiment. So it just got into I just got into the mindset that, all right, these are my responsibilities, these are my
Mm-hmm.
obligations, this is what you do, and then rinse and repeat
Gotcha.
until until a further notice or instructed otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as in having that abstract thinking on, like, man, I wish I had a dad, or I
Right.
wish I
That's what I
had
was.
this, that, and the third, or whatever. I think, like I said, at a very young age, I was already molded to kind of have my own my own independent mindset.
Right.
And even when people used to ask my mother, they were like, oh man, Amon's so well man, and he's this, that, and the third. She's like, man, look, Amon raised himself. It's like I went at home. He cooked most of the time when my mom would come home dead tired. I'm cooking for the house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got to, I'm babysitting, you know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. I got to cook for me and my little brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When she home, whether I'm of age or not.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I don't think it was ever just an oncurring thought that I could just dwell on when I had other responsibilities. So it's like I already seen myself as my own man. So it's like, I think a lot of men who are looking for their fathers are looking for guidance.
Right.
And me, I already had structure. So it's like, and it was working for me at the time. So I think I had more focus, and I was more worried about what my ambitions were than necessarily following somebody else's footsteps that I felt like I was their prodigy.
Gotcha. So if I'm hearing right, you guys moved from the south, from Clayton County, and then you go to Henry County.
Yeah.
Now, is this a culture change or during this particular time?
Drastic.
Okay.
Drastic, man. Because, I'm saying one of the reasons why I end up finding myself in the penal system is because the predominant white population, you know what I'm saying? Like everything was much spread out. Probably the first time I ever seen cows and shit in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. So, and then, it wasn't a whole lot of individuals that looked like me. So I definitely stood out, and it wasn't always favored, you know what I'm saying? Our first year or so, even staying there, it wasn't long before we was having issues with the police. My mother was having to file reports, end up getting an officer fired for harassment. And later on, that ended up playing a role also in my incarceration. So,
okay, so you get incarcerated at what age?
14.
14. And what was the charge?
Armed robbery, aggravated assault.
Can you walk us through that day?
I mean, yeah, I can. As far as in walking through the day, as far as what happened overall, or just
overall.
Me, overall, just that day. Was that a week? No, it was a weekday. It was a weekday. So I think I had came home from school. I had a dude that I used to kick it with, you know what I'm saying? His name was Jason. He was like my play cousin, you know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of normal. Came home from school, we kicked it with him. I think we was at, he drove up to one of these girls' houses that I used to kick it with, Adrian and Sharika. And they was like the only two black chicks that I knew for like the 3 or 4 miles, you know what I'm saying? Because of the population. And then when I came back home, it was just, wind down, make sure my brother's fed, you know what I'm saying? Make sure I got everything laid out for school the next day, things of that nature, whatever. And then, of course, things go terribly wrong. Shit, probably maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, you know what I'm saying? I hear someone beating on the door, do, 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 do. So me, of course, really, I wake up pissed off because I'm like, who the hell would want to be beating on my door? And then you got some audacity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and of course, my mom, she's not even home. She's at work. This is just our normal thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and usually she would be home. She would get home early in the morning, right before I would have to go to school. So we would just trade spots when it came to, you know what I'm saying, babysitting my little brother. And I'm not sure if my little brother was at school. I think my little brother was attending school. So I would see my brother off to school, you know what I'm saying, get him on the bus. And then I would get on the bus. All right. So of course, you know what I'm saying, this loud banging on the door and things of that nature, whatever. I go answer the door. I don't have anything to really worry about. It's regular. It's supposed to be a regular day for me. And of course, they announced themselves to be the police. I mean, shit, I open up the door. I'm like, what the fuck? Right. You know what I'm saying? So as they, when I open up the door, of course, I got assault rifles and everything in my face. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a mass murderer or whatever, right?
You're 14 years old.
Yeah, I'm 14.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. So they're like, so of course they immediately snatched me out, you know what I'm saying, snatched me out my house. And mine is just my pleas of like, hey, look, man, the only person in the house is my baby brother. Don't go in there with your guns drawn. I don't need you accidentally shooting my gun, my brother. I've seen, throughout my childhood, I've seen things go terribly wrong.
Right.
But thankfully no harm came to my baby brother. You know what I'm saying? I think they were, I don't know. I think he might have slept. You know, he was even graceful enough to even sleep through all of this ruckus. How, I don't know. But of course they put me in the patrol car. You know, my mom's probably eventually showed up, probably about 30 minutes to an hour later, trying to figure out what's going on. I didn't even know what's going on. You know, they had me arrested in the back of the car. I didn't even know what was going on at the time. My mother had to inform me that they said that I am now a suspect for the robbery of the BP gas station that was up the street from my house.
Okay.
So I was like, what? Which was news to me at this time. And don't get me wrong. And I'm not gonna say that I was the idea poster child. You know what I'm saying? That I had my time where I was in the street and there wasn't things that I probably was guilty of and things that next, because I mean it was the nature of some of the neighborhoods that I've been in that you needed protection, or whether it's selling drugs and things of that nature. So I can't say that I'm innocent of all things.
Right.
But you know, this happened to be the one thing that, you know, I guess when you are trying to transition, you know, shit happens.
So you didn't.
Now this was a crime that I actually did not commit.
What?
Yes.
Bro, you got booked for armed robbery you didn't commit.
Man, if I broke down everything to you, bro, you'd be looking at me like, how in the hell? Because when they came and got me, right, the clothes that they took me out of my house was a tank top t-shirt and some sweatpants. That automatically became the clothes that the suspects was wearing, even though the suspects, one, had on ski masks, which, you know what I'm saying, obscures identification.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then they had, you know what I'm saying, there was surveillance in the store, which was supposed to be. All of a sudden, during my trial, the tape gets damaged. So it can't be admissible as evidence, right? So now the eyewitnesses, and then the eyewitnesses statement don't say my name at all. So they come and get me with no one really identified.
Do you have an attorney when you get?
I did. My mother paid paid an attorney. I had an attorney named Victor Kuvo.
Okay.
So Victor Kuvo came and took on my case, and you know, when he came to me, man, he had confidence, like, man, this is in them. Like, they don't have this or this, that, and the third. The only thing we're worried about is a videotape. So my mother paid this man $3,500, and he didn't even show up to my plea. So by this time, my mother's out of resources because of paying this one lawyer. I get a public pretender, you know what I'm saying, which he does not do his due diligence. No. You know what I'm saying? There were so many questions not asked, so much evidence that he could have, you know what I'm saying, that was impermissible. Well, even the lineup was impermissibly suggested. All right, you have two suspects, which you just get me, you know what I'm saying? Both of these alleged robbers had weapons, which you come to my house or take a BB gun to my house and then say this is the alleged weapon. Then the statements of eyewitnesses said that two suspects run out of the store, jump in an SUV, and take off. I'm not even old enough to drive. I don't even have a car.
You're 14.
And I'm 14.
Do you know how to drive at the time?
Did I know how to drive at the time? I may have had my learners at the time, but as far as in having a vehicle, I did not. Or I did have a vehicle, 1976 Dodge Dart, which my mother was going to give to me. But of course, I was still working on it. Still had to put brakes on it. Still, it was supposed to be my project car as I was going into high school. Right. Gotcha. So, and then, you know, on top of that, you know, they were saying, and these suspects still had on ski masks. So we're still trying to figure it. None of the statements say my name. So they said the only reason that they came and got me and made me a suspect is because the eyewitnesses and the clerk said that it was me. So I'm like, okay, so why isn't it in the statements? Well, if you knew exactly who it was, then you know his name, and why didn't you write it in the statements? Never my name was never mentioned in the statements. They did a photo lineup of me and random guys, right? And said, hey, look, can you pick out the armed robber? None of us have on ski masks, right? Because you're supposed to be able to identify this alleged suspect through the ski mask, right? So, of course, if you're going to put me...
What county were you arrested in?
Henry County.
What year is this?
This is early 2000s, like 2000, 2001. And then I'm held 2 years till I'm adult. I'm here 2 years in juvenile, so they can.
All right, so let me ask you this: so now you're in Henry County juvenile. You go in at 14.
Yes, sir.
Bro, what is your mind state? Where are you at mentally?
I don't know, man. It sounds crazy, but it's just like, I guess it's just how I was raised. I would just focus. It's focused. Like, and I think I'm still this way to this day. It's like I'm just constantly training. I'm constantly training and just looking at, like, a lot of even the JCOs would look at me and tell some of the other kids that were there to, saying, to be cautious of me, because that's all they see me do.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't really watch TV. I didn't play in any games, whatever. All I did was train, train and work out. And they've never seen somebody that focused. And I think that was just how I rationalized it, and I kept and it was so instilled in me, certain mannerisms, like yes sir, no sir, because that's all my family's military.
Right.
So for other kids who did not have that same structure, and they kind of did what they want to, that it made them stand out as troublemakers. And me, and just like what was normal for me, they're just like, you're so respectful. They like, what how did you get here? Yeah. That's what I got most of the time. How did I get here? So even through the juvenile system, through the juvenile system, I stood out as an idea, because they like, we don't have any problems out of them.
Yeah.
We don't have any even when it came to physical confrontation, it had to be worth it for me. It had to be worth it. Like, I used to love basketball.
Right.
But when basketball came problematic, that you wanted to, that because I was good, you be trying to slick hurt me. I'm like, if we're gonna fight, let's just fight.
Yeah.
Don't try to mask it that we're playing a game and you're really trying to hurt me. But if you're just mad because you're losing, I never seen that as a reason for me to want to hurt you, even though I know I probably could, because all I do is train. That's what I said.
Let me ask you this. So when were you initially introduced to martial arts?
At 7.
Oh, 7. Okay. You've been doing this. You've been doing this.
Yeah. Like I said, military background, plus, my mother used to keep me in the martial arts. So that's all I used to do, is train. And, and it used to baffle me why my mother never let me play sports. Why? Because so many of my teachers wanted me, to play sports. They're like, your son is so coordinated. He's already an athlete.
Yeah.
And my mother used to get mad at me. Oh, you want to bounce some white man basketball? You want to throw some white man football? She was a very, very militant sister, right? You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, I didn't know what to do with all this, with all this energy. It's like, Mom, all I know is being, is a level of athleticism. I train and hone my muscles, in memory of certain moves, certain techniques.
Right.
All I do is work out. All my punishments are work out: front lean and rest, push-ups, sit-ups, stand in the corner with on one leg with 2 dictionaries in your hand. I'm built to do something physical, and you want me to sit in front of a book and read. And she used to force me to read, and I did find myself reading, but of course, when you're that young, you die. It's like you retain the information, but you don't digest it. It's not as impactful then. It's just something that you're forced to do more so than you see the benefits out of it, and you really don't comprehend it. Wrong.
But as an adult,
I can grasp it now. I still remember when my mother used to study with the Nuwabians and the Hebrew Israelites, going to the Ben Ami, going to some of the sermons of Ben Ami and things of that nature. Whatever, man. I definitely, as far as when it came to my speech and my interaction with adults, way above, my age bracket. And it was just due to the structure that I had and the certain responsibilities that I was given at such a young age.
Hey, man, shouts out and much respect to Mom for putting in your life from get.
My mother was a great woman until she wasn't. I think me going to prison kind of broke her. You know what I'm saying? I think it did in the long run, man. It did, because even on my case, one of the investigators was the family member to one of the officers. My mother got fired, so he was the one that did my investigation.
Okay, a relative of an individual who did the investigation. Your mom ended up getting him fired. How? What happened?
We had an incident prior to my arrest of my youngest brother getting into having a confrontation one of the younger kids. My brother went number like 3 or 4 or whatever. So his dad felt like it was okay to come over our house drunk and try to harass my mother and go ahead and yell and this, that, and the third. So of course, me out there, I'll be at the forefront of things of that nature. But my mother's like, oh look, I'm gonna call the police. You're trespassing, and you're not finna be a grown man that finna come and think you finna do anything to me, right? So instead of the police, the officer come and de-escalate it, he calls more. So my mother had to call another officer to come out here and restrain the officer in order to survey the officer that she called out first. You know what I'm saying? Which his disorderly conduct, my mother wrote the sheriff's office. I can't remember what she wrote a letter to the department, and he ended up being fired due to his negligence or his inappropriate actions as a law enforcement officer.
All right. So let me ask you this. So you're in juvenile, you're 14, well disciplined, well behaved, and you did not commit this crime. So in your mind, is it just a matter of time before they realize what's going on? Do you think that you're going home, or what's your mindset?
I mean, it's so crazy, right? Even when you ask me this, man, it's like such a blur. It's like I didn't know. It's like I really took everything day to day. I did have hopes that I would be proven innocent. You know what I'm saying? And this may sound real fucked up, right? But I kind of understood at a very young age what it was to be a black man, and the strong possibility that even if I didn't do it, that it probably didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So
okay, so then when the smoke clears, do we take a plea or do we go to trial?
I actually went to trial.
Okay.
I actually went to trial because, of course, in my innocence, and even at the trial, with all the overwhelming, impermissibly suggestive evidence, I still got convicted. But instead of getting the maximum, they gave me the minimum of 10 years after already doing it.
Who was your judge?
I can't even remember the judge. Okay. I think it was something Miller.
Okay. And so when they said not guilty, when they said guilty, where are you at?
I think I was stoic. You know what I'm saying? Because I said, because I told you, I kind of already had this mentality, you know what I'm saying, that even though I'm not guilty, that it kind of really didn't matter in their eyes. So I don't know if I was necessarily prepared, more so than I was just like, I'm a survivor, you know what I'm saying? Whatever I got to do, what can I do about it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If it is this what it is, crying ain't gonna do nothing about it.
Right.
Acting out ain't gonna do nothing about it. Pitching a scene or whatever, man, and drawing this unnecessary attention to myself, regardless of, regardless of guilt or innocence, you know what I'm saying, really wasn't gonna make a difference. So I guess I was just already mentally preparing myself, even when I went back, you know what I'm saying, because I was actually old enough to go to the county at this time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying, to go back to the county. So even after that end, it was just a lot of people in my pot was just like, they gave you 10 years and you not motherfucking breaking down. They like, I've never seen anybody take, news like that, because of course people before me, they were fucking ready to do themselves.
Right.
And I've even seen, you know what I'm saying, like even when I was in juvenile, that was, I was a part, still a part of the Superior Court. And even guys that I was with, when they knew that they thought they was gonna get time, they hung themselves. I had a dude that knew Kenny. His name was Kenny. Kind of heavy set. He was in Superior Court, always laughing, just joking, right? And I think that was his way to fit in, because he really wasn't a fighter like the rest of us. Some of us, we were kind of built for confrontation when it happened,
right?
Because even when it going through like Millersville and Eastman and things of that nature, whatever, they kind of had to separate it. Because I remember one time where long term ran in our school, like their whole school migrated into our school, and I'm talking about they took no holds bars Teachers got it, running water, anybody. It was
Oh,
just
what happened?
yeah. So in Eastman, they would have the different pods separated, right? We were separated by colors, and then
Eastman is a juvenile.
Eastman is a juvenile
Okay.
facility, right? So this is within those 2 years while I'm being held,
Right.
You know what I'm saying, till I'm adult, till I'm able to be tried. So what is it? Was it Millerville or Eastman? No. This was Millerville that they went in. Eastman was another one that went terribly wrong on an occasion. So I ended up getting stabbed at Eastman. So in Millersville, they had it separated by pods. We were separated by colors. I can't remember exactly what they would call each pod. Each pod had like its own thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the main population was like purple and like green, and we had separate schools, right? They would teach us, we had separate schools. And one day, I don't know if it just be like close to holidays or things of that nature, whatever. They just said, hell with it, we're gonna ride. And the whole school up and migrated to our school to pop something off. And maybe it was one of our pods that had beef with the other dudes or whatever,
right.
Because you still got a lot of gang violence, a lot of things they still bring from the street,
mm-hmm.
that saying that you wouldn't normally think, like, oh yeah, we all in the same boat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't think that way. A lot of them still are holding on to street traditions,
right?
Even though they are in a general population penal system setting. So that may have been a reason. I don't know. I just know that I seen a whole school migrate to to our school
mm-hmm.
with the means of war. And and I think our teacher ended up getting badly hurt, and it ended up with being me and Poncho in a corner. Poncho had a stapler that he was wielding like some nunchucks. I think I had pushed desk in between me and most of the doors. So anybody who had to come over the desk, they just had to see me. They just had to see me. So just that blockade that we made gave us enough time to kind of portion out the numbers that were flooding in, so we weren't completely overrun at once.
Mm-hmm.
And we gave it and we took it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that was one of those particular situations you could ever say like, oh yeah, man, we beat them. Man, it was just survival.
Yeah.
That was one of those survival situations. And I think Eastman was a different one. It was a race war.
Gotcha.
Spanish and I don't even know if I want to say Spanish versus blacks, but I knew that it was a thing. And then at that time we had wood shop, and it was a lot of the Spanish people who would make shaft, weapons in the wood shop. And
is that how you end up getting stabbed? Or
I ended up being stabbed by another dude from my dorm. I didn't get stabbed that time. That time it was in school, but it was a bloodbath, man. It's like they needed squeegees to get the blood out of the school, man.
Yeah.
It was so bad. But I ended up getting stabbed at the chow hall for a dude who knew me from the dorm. And I think it was because I ended up beating up one of his homeboys, and he just under the table just drove a pin into my damn leg. So I was like, so of course I stood up, and most of the time, what a lot of people don't know about getting stabbed, pulling the weapon out hurts more than it going in. I don't know if it's just necessarily like being caught off guard and just the adrenaline thing, but it's just like coming out is better than us. But of course, when he jumped in and we had the table in between us, he ended up getting catch him. And I promise you, man, when I came across the table, I wanted his life.
Yeah,
I wanted his life. I think Officer Speedy stopped me though. You know what I'm saying? I think I probably broke him up bad.
Mm-hmm.
I know I stumped out his kneecap. I don't know if it broke. I feel it give, but I don't know if it. But that's neither here nor there.
No, okay. No, but let me ask you this. So at this particular time, is there a strong gang presence at that facility?
At that time, I think it was. I think it was. It was always. I think through most of my juvenile experience has always been gang elements, and you would see them click up, and then it was even elements where they would just make up they cliques. They would have their own little thing. I don't think I've ever been part of it. I kind of really stood out, but it's like I was one of those people. I never really made a whole lot of waves to be targeted. You know what I'm saying? I think I found myself in the vast majority of the fights that I found myself in most of my incarceration was just like riots where you don't have any choice. It's just war.
You just got
what I'm saying? Like me having specific beef with somebody, I really didn't have anything to really be mad, upset with anybody about, unless you just brought it to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or in those standout situations where you have somebody that wants to take advantage of you.
Right.
Because that still goes on.
Right.
There's still people who want to assault you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it be sexually, whether it be to prove something, things of that nature, whatever. And sometimes you get caught up in the crossfire that you're part of somebody's initiation for these games. You're like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? You want to be down with us? Go ride on Hope such and such, such and such. You know what I'm saying? You know, that nigga square whatever. And sometimes you just get free picked like that.
Let me ask you this. When you leave juvenile, what facility do they send you to?
ALTO.